Hello everyone, this is Anand Kori from the ManageEngine Analytics Plus product team. So today we're going to look into a critical change that has been planned for some time now, and we're trying to execute this change shortly after this webinar. And this change is related to the dashboard viewer category of license for Analytics Plus. I hope everybody is aware of Analytics Plus and its licensing categories. So one of the category is the dashboard viewer, and we're going to see what is the change that is going through and how is it going to help end users better than the existing model, right? So it's going to be a short webinar. So if you have any questions, we'll take them at the end. So I hope everybody is aware of what the existing licensing model for Analytics Plus is, right? So there are two categories, just to recap on what is existing. The first category is called users, who would be able to create reports and dashboards and create databases within Analytics Plus. They primarily have a login credential to get into Analytics Plus and create all these reports and do analysis onto it. And as you know, that seems to be like an administrator license category. And the second category is the dashboard viewer category, which is primarily targeted towards end users who would be requiring to just view it, or on a read-only mode, they'll be trying to understand the published reports and then do some basic analytical activities on them. So they are primarily read-only users who will be called as dashboard viewers. And as you can see, the base pack for users starts from 2, and the base pack for dashboard viewers starts from 5 viewers, right? So that is the existing licensing model. And luckily, we do not have any change in this 2 categories. The base packs also stays the same. So there's going to be no change related to the number of users or the number of base pack viewers with respect to the new change model, right? But what is the change is all about? So primarily the functionality of the dashboard viewer is getting changed. So when we say functionality, it's the method under which the dashboard viewer works, right? So in order to understand the existing model, let me just quickly explain you what is the existing dashboard viewer works like, so that you can understand what is the change that is coming through. So the existing dashboard viewer license would be attached to a particular user. So though it is not having any login credentials or direct access to the product, this dashboard viewer would still be attached to a particular user using the browser sessions that they use, right? So when they open a particular published URL or a embedded iframe, that gets attached in the product with their browser session details, right? So in a way, we are trying to attach a particular person into the product as a logged in user, but technically it is not a logged in user, right? So that is the existing model. And we're going to move that model to concurrent dashboard viewer model, where we are not much worried about whether the user is going to be attached with a particular browser or not. It's going to be a concurrent model which can allow the dashboard viewer, as and when they wanted to view the dashboards, they'll be able to view the dashboards using the URL and then come out of it and then get the sessions closed automatically. So there's going to be a shift in how it's going to be handled inside the product. So it does not actually make any change to the end users or for the administrators of Analytics Plus. So it's going to be only the product level change, which is going to help the end users in a better way. So we're going to see how it helps the end users or the customers when they come through this particular change. So for example, let's say in our existing model, user-based dashboard viewer model, let's say a particular customer purchased 5 dashboard viewers, right? And then a particular URL or a particular report is being published to within their organization, and 5 of those dashboard viewers have tried to launch the report using their own browsers, right? So all 5 users are currently occupying the 5 licenses allocated. and everybody is happy with the report. Now let's say a new user comes in and then he tries to access the same URL which is being published, right? But since it is already using all the 5 allowed licenses, now this user will get a message saying that there is no more viewer license available. So probably he can try it at a later time, right? So the 6th user is now being blocked and he is not being given the access to the report. Now, this is the typical case that everybody might come across. And in the old model, even when one of the user within the first 5 users, even if one user closes the browser or gets out of the system as well, still the product would try to retain their browser session details within the product, meaning that though the user is not currently using that particular report or viewing that report actively, still the details are stored inside the product, and it's assumed that he is currently using that particular license as well. So even with that scenario, a 6th user coming inside to view the report would still be blocked for accessing that particular report, right? And typically in the old model, he might have to wait for 7 days until the slot gets cleared. So he'll be getting access only after the 7th continuous day when the 5th user is not actively getting back to that report or launching that browser again, right? So it's going to be a waste of time for the 6th user, as well as one particular license is being held without nobody's usage, right? So that is the problem which we faced. And most of our customers who have been extensively using this dashboard viewer license have come up with all these bottlenecks which they found inside using that dashboard viewer license, and they were not able to cater to most of their end users. So there was clearly a problem with the method in which the dashboard viewer license was given out in Analytics Plus. Now we're going to solve this problem in the concurrent model, and let's jump into the concurrent dashboard viewer model. The same scenario, 5 users, 5 licenses purchased, and all 5 is being currently utilized for a particular published report. Now, when the 6th user comes in, he will still get the page blocked, right? Because there is no more license available. But when the 5th user actually gets out of the browser, or when he closes the browser, immediately the concurrent dashboard model will allow the 6th user to take his place. So meaning that the details of the browser sessions of the 5th user is immediately removed from the product, so that the 6th user can get access directly when he tries to launch in to that you published URL, right? So by this, we are trying to solve the wait time, right? So there is no more wait time for the 6th user. As soon as the 5th user or any slot gets freed up, the 6th user can start occupying that particular place, right? So this is going to be the major change, and though it is not a product level, I mean, it's just not a change that an administrator or the end user would identify, but still this product change is going to help the end customers in a bigger way, right? So let's see what are the benefits that users might get when we move into this concurrent model. So we're going to have optimized license usage. As we explained, there is no more wait time for the viewers. So they'll be immediately getting access to the published URL or the embedded iframes as the browser sessions are cleared immediately when someone is closing that particular browsers, right? So that's going to be allowing them to optimize the license usage. And unlike the user-based model, the dashboard viewer license is not attached to any particular machine or browser after the session is closed. So once the session is closed, the details would be completely removed, and even if the same user tries to open it on another browser or on the same browser, it's going to be occupied as a new license usage, right? So as soon as it gets closed, they're getting cleared now. And the flexibility to use few licenses for many users. And this is going to be a selling point for Analytics Plus going forward, because the concurrent model would allow the customers to purchase minimum user licenses, dashboard viewer license, and use that for maximum users. So for an example, a typical help desk, which is running 24/7, would probably having 3 shifts or 4 shifts, and not all the shift would be operating in the same time, right? So in those cases, people can purchase probably the number of dashboard viewers for a maximum of users that are available in one shift, and use the same license in other shifts as well, right? So they'll be able to purchase like 100 dashboard viewers and probably use that for 300 different users round the clock, right? So that's going to give them a lot of benefit on the cost factor and a lot of advantages in managing the dashboard viewer for the administrator. He need not worry about exhausting all these dashboard viewers in one single go, or need not worry about whether it's going to be occupied fully or whether it's going to be throwing errors or wait times on the screen. So he can avoid all these scenarios there. And the customers are happy by paying only for the max number of viewers instead of paying for the total number of employees or users available in their environment. So it's going to be cutting down the number of purchased license, but still will cater to all the users available in the organization. Okay, so there is no change in the publishing or embedding options. So you still have both the options like access with login and access without login when you try to publish or embed your reports or dashboard. So there is no change in the process or in the working nature of publishing or embedding your reports and dashboard. So these are the benefits which are going to help us to push this new change to the end users, and down the line they'll be happy to adapt to these concurrent models. As most of our customers have already requested for this model, we are also happy that we could bring this into the product with all the feedbacks that we have received, right? And there's going to be a price change as well. Unfortunately, it's has to be done because we are giving more number of users with this access to the product with the same number of licenses. So there's going to be a slight increase from $120 per viewer, that is the dashboard viewer existing price, to $185 per viewer, right? So the base pack still remains the same, but the individual price of the dashboard viewer is slightly increased. And even considering the number of users who could benefit from this model change, we are still priced moderately when compared with all the other major players in the market. So I don't think this price change is going to be a bigger concern here, because it's going to help us to push the model, and then that model is going to give them benefits 3x times. So definitely a $120 to $185 price change is not going to be a big concern for the customers, and we should be able to get this message with the benefits that they give, and we should be able to convince these prospects or customers to go with the new model as well, right? So that brings us to the end of the change that we are discussing on the dashboard viewer license model, right?
With that, we come to the end of this webinar session. Thank you for joining, and you have a great day.